night, grab some popcorn, and we're starting. Swim date scuffle. I was meant to stay the night with a kid just a few doors down from my grandparents. He lived with his grandparents, and his grandpa was a facilities manager at an upscale apartment complex, and he offered us to swim there for a day. His grandpa dropped us off at the main pool and said he'd be back in a while. The pool was Olympic-sized and simply had too many people in it. So we decided to explore and ended up in the smaller pool on a property somewhere else. We were swimming, having a good time, and everything was great until he started a splash fight, I guess his friend. And we were going back and forth, and then he started screaming at me at the top of his lungs. Then he went too far, and I knew I had to act. His friend? He ends up cornering me and tries to push me under the water, still screaming. I wrestled myself free and hit him square in the nose. His nose started bleeding like Niagara Falls, and he started cursing at me repeatedly, as loud as his lungs could muster. I got out of the pool, grabbed my things, and headed back to the front of the complex. People were staring and trying to calm him down. He started walking after me, his hands at his sides and fists, covered in blood from his nose. I made it back to the front of the complex, and I'm desperately trying to find somebody to let me use a phone to call home. No one would listen. They are enamored with this screaming kid who, by the way, is still lumbering after me. He's a mess. Out of nowhere, his grandfather appears, snatches him up, and disappears through the door. If he's looking for a fight and he's trying to push somebody else down and drown them, like, that's obviously a parent's issue. This kid obviously has a lot of anger issues. I was still trying to get someone to let me use a phone when his grandfather reappeared. He asked me what happened and then told me he has to take the kid home and that I can't go with them. They finally let me use a phone. My parents didn't answer, so I ended up getting a hold of my aunt, who was still working and couldn't come for another 2 hours. Oh, God. When I got home, I got yelled at for being so far from home. A few days later, my mom went to talk to the kid's grandfather. She came back and told me that we can't hang out anymore. She told me that he needed medication to keep him calm and that he missed his dose that day. What do you think that? I mean, I know we're not internet experts, okay? We're not psychologists or psychotherapists or counselors of any kind, but do you think that's bipolar? Like, you're trying to drown a kid. You're a kid trying to drown another kid, and you're angry and you're ready to throw down and get aggressive. Walk away. Walk away. When I was about 14, I was at a big group sleepover with my friends. The mother of the girl who was hosting it was very strict about health. She told us we couldn't order any pizza until we had eaten a massive fruit platter that she had prepared for us. No one was touching the platter. It's a sleepover. What do you want? What do you want? You want pizza? You want maybe milkshakes or chocolate milk or soda? Oh my gosh, pizza and soda, and then watch a movie, right? Fruit platter. I mean, now as an adult, yes, I want a fruit platter. If I'm hanging out with my girls, hell yeah. But I still like pizza. No one was touching the platter other than a few pieces to snack on. It was getting late, the pizza place would be closing soon, and her mother was not budging about that rule. Someone needed to step up, and that someone was me. Oh, don't be a hero. Don't do it. Oh no, this is gonna go so bad. I started devouring the fruit platter, shoving pieces into my mouth and swallowing without chewing. This was a platter for about 8 people, but I was a woman on a mission. We ended up getting pizza, but I got so sick I spent most of the night throwing up. I couldn't even enjoy the pizza because I was so full. Oh, she took one for the team. Good for her. Good for her. Why are moms so crazy? Let loose, man. Find some balance, okay? The kids are just being kids, sleepovers and stuff. I went to my friend's house for the first time, and as always, she wanted to come to my house, not the other way around. However, she had never told me why, and I wanted to learn the truth the hard way. Why? But, I mean, leave it alone. Leave it alone. If there's something, you gotta like a mystery, right? So I got there, and after the first hour, all goes downhill. The parents had strict rules about eating at the table. They proceeded to insult me about my weight to the point where I nearly cried. Oh my God. After that, they continued to ask me questions about my race and my family. By the time nighttime came, I found they had a lockdown rule at their house. We weren't allowed out of the bedroom until morning. I didn't know that and ended up getting lectured the next morning. I also didn't know that I would be forced to attend their church in the morning before I could go home. great. And that's how I figured out why she always wanted to stay at my house instead of the other way around. Probably because your parents aren't psychos. God. Nothing is worse than super strict or super loose with everything. Just balance, people. Balance. That's what it's all about. It was a hot summer night, so we were camping outside in sleeping bags. It's pretty late, and we've been messing around with each other all night, tossing little pebbles and running around, dragging each other around in sleeping bags. So I guess, oh, they're camping, which is what I just said. Okay. Just as I was dozing off, I felt a nudge, but waved it off. I felt a nudge against my sleeping bag, and immediately I heard a squeaky screech. I screamed, and everyone immediately panicked with me. I'm zipped up in a mummy-style sleeping bag, so when I stand, whatever is screeching is still wrapped in it with me. A quick-witted kid ran over and helped shake the bag out with me, and a huge bat flew out. Oh, it's a bat! I think they're cute. I think they're adorable. But that's just me.